Okay, let's take a look. We looked at a blank W-4 form. So now we're going to take a look at some examples. So here we have James Smith, and he's a single person, his social security number, and of course he would have his address in there. And let's say he only has one job and he is single, okay? So he's filled out his information and he clicked single on the box, and all the rest of this is blank. Okay, so how do we calculate out his FIT to withhold from his check? So let us say that he makes $25,000. He gets paid every twice a month, on the 15th and the last day. So semi-monthly. So we're going to take 25,000 divided by 24. And that gives us $1,042. It would be his gross wages for each check. Okay, so we're going to look that up now. Okay, he's single and there's nothing else filled out. So we're going to go to, I have on your content tab, I have this little Excel sheet with some instructions. And so here's for wages. If only one wage for the household, which is just like James Smith, and there's no dependents, we just use that wage to look up in the wage bracket tables under standard withholding. Okay, so now we're going to go here. This is the IRS, and I clicked on search forms. Okay, so in the search box, we're going to put publication 15T. Now, they should have it where you can just go straight to that, but a lot of times the 15T doesn't pop up for some reason. So we can just go to publication 15. It just causes us to do some extra steps. Of course, everything is new and crazy for the IRS too, so I presume that'll get fixed. So here you can see, here's the publication 15 that is our circular E, and down here it says what's new, 2020 withholding tables. They used to be in the publication 15, but now they're not. Now they have publication 15T. So we have to go onto this link here. It's in that paragraph, and that takes us here. And we can then go to a further link to get to the W-4 form that we already did a video on, or we can get to the publication 15T, or we can do that Excel spreadsheet that we talked about before. Okay, so we're gonna click on the publication 15T. Now here we can have it in various methods, and I just usually use the first one, the PDF one. So here is our federal income tax withholding methods for use in 2020, publication 15T. Okay, we're going to particularly look for the wage bracket methods in part 2 and 3. Part 2 is wage bracket methods if the employee has a W-4 from 2020 or later. Part 3 is wage bracket method with the employee as a W-4 from 2019 or earlier. Okay, so we're primarily looking at the 2020 right now, so we're going to click on this. It'll take us to page 7, and there's a little worksheet here. If you needed to, rather than that little Excel sheet instructions that I had, if you want to use this worksheet that's in the IRS booklet, you can. I think my little Excel sheet I made up for you is easier. Okay, so now we have to find, after that starts the actual wage bracket tables. Okay, This first page is for weekly. Now we said that James Smith gets paid semi-monthly. So we have to find the semi-monthly. First is weekly, then is bi-weekly. And here starts the semi-monthly. Okay? And so we said that his gross wages was $1,042. Okay? Just down here in this line, down here at the bottom. Okay? We also have to know, is he married, filing jointly, head of household, or single? Okay? Now recall on his W-4 form, he did not check the box on step 2. So we're going to use the standard withholding of the single. He's checked off that he was single. So we're going to be using this column, and then we're going to go across on the row that's for 1,042, which is between 1030 and 1045. So we go across, and that's $54. $54 would be taken out of James Smith's check. Okay, so let's take a look at another one. Okay, this is for John Best. Now I stuck and Mary on here. This would not be on here in real life. I'm just letting you know that John and Mary are married, and so I stuck and Mary on there. But in real life, this would only be John Best and John's social security number, address, etc. And then if Mary had a job, Mary would fill out a separate W-4 for her job. It would just say Mary Best and her social security number. Okay? They would each fill out a separate one. Okay? Now, in this situation, I am pretending that Mary does not have a job. So only John has a job. They are married, they're filing jointly on their tax return, but there's only one job that's John's that's taking care of the household. So they would fill themselves out, he would check married filing jointly for his filing status, and again, nothing else is filled out. So once again, here, there's still only one wage for the household. We don't care what the filing status is. If there's only one wage for the household, we're going to use up the wage brackets tables for standard withholding. So I'm going to go back into my wage bracket tables, and we're going to pretend that John makes the same thing as James, only he's also supporting Mary in the household. Okay, so John made $25,000 a year. He makes it semi-monthly, so that's still the $1,042. We're still going to use this row down here of the semi-monthly page. Only instead of single like James was, John is married filing jointly. He still did not check the box in step 2 on his W-4 form, so we're still going to use standard withholding. We go down that column to the row that the 1042 is on, and we see a 0. Okay, so nothing would get withheld for federal income tax for John. Now, of course, he'd still have Social Security and Medicare tax taken out, but nothing for FIT. That would be a 0. Okay. Let's take another look. Let's take a look at Brittany Tolson. And Brittany Tolson is a head of household. Okay? So, she didn't want to have to put anything about her credits. You can't be head of household unless you have dependents. Okay? So she has dependents, but maybe she didn't want to bother with this, okay? which means more is going to be taken out. This acts as a subtraction. So more is going to be taken out of her paycheck every time, but she'll get it back in the refund when she files her income taxes next spring, and she'll get it back. So let's say that Brittany, she's a head of household, so she's only one there supporting the household, some kids, and she has 2 jobs, okay? So because her 2 jobs are fairly close to about the same amount, she's going to use this part C, okay? If there are only 2 jobs, you may check this box. Do the same on Form W-4 for the other job. This option is accurate for jobs with similar pay. In other words, maybe she makes $15,000 on one paycheck a year, and the other job is $14,000 a year. Okay, so they're close enough, and so she would check this box here. Okay, again, like I say, she could have less taken out if she would fill in this section about her dependents, but she did not do so. So she'll have more taken out, but she'll get the refund. Okay, and she has nothing else filled out. So now we're going to look her up, okay? And so let's say we do the check that is, we said she had one that was $15,000, and we'll divide that by 24 paychecks, because we'll say that she's also gets paid twice a month. Okay, so that means her gross wages are $625. Okay, so here we have 10 to 625, then we have 625 to 640. So our number of 625 is showing up twice. So we're going to take the lower row where 625 is at least 625, but 625 is not less than 625. So whenever your number shows up twice, always take the row where your number shows up first, in the first column. So 625 to 640, and she is head of household, so that's here, and she did check this the step 2 checkbox. So we're going to use this column here, this 4th column over. So the 625, and we would go across, and that's $24 would be getting taken out of her paycheck. Then on her other check, that was $14,000 a year divided by 24 paychecks. That's $583. So she would look up 583, which is in this row. She'd go over to head of household, where she did check off, okay, and that's $20. So she'd have $20 out of the one paycheck and $24 out of the other paycheck for FIT. That could get lowered if she would fill out step 3.